Welcome to the one-time only revival of America's Boating Channel Live. I'm Marty Lafferty. Our show started to help boaters cope with COVID and to become safer boaters. Now more people want to become boaters, and we're glad to help. America's Boating Channel has gotten back together with the U.S. sailing team to kick off our countdown to the Summer Olympics. Andy Sumberg wants to set an example for new boaters with boater education. John O'Reilly will present a coming-of-age disaster survival film. Cheryl Lowry and Brian Pinkston will show us how to prepare for COVID-19 vaccines. And Holly Tompkins will provide a musical interlude of epic proportions. Megan Humphrey will look forward to nautical crafts for when the pandemic is over. Jim Zeigler will preview another very cool boating channel. Mary Catherine Berube will show off the new America's Boating Club mobile app. Chuck Wells will highlight 3 diverse books for boaters. And Gary Cheney will close out our show with Catfish. But first, here's Louie Ojeda with an important message.
Hello, fellow boaters. My name is Louie, and I've been a boater all my life. Whether you're a sailor or a power boater, this virus pandemic has really hampered our on-the-water activities. You've heard from me about activities you can do while social distancing. Now, as Paul Harvey used to say, stand by for the rest of the story. My wife and I both contracted COVID-19 this past December. It affected both of us in very different ways. She lost her sense of taste and smell, and I did not. She did not have a fever, but I did, peaking at 104 for 2 days. She did not have to go to the hospital, and I spent 3 nights on the COVID floor with double pneumonia. We are both fine now thanks to the excellent care we received and the new drug treatments available. The doctors and nurses did a fine job, and we thank and appreciate all of our health departments across the nation for working under these extremely challenging conditions. Most boaters I know are quite good at solving problems that come up while sailing or cruising, but COVID-19 presents a much different problem, one that requires professional help. Thankfully, help is readily available, and early diagnosis is the key for a quick recovery. Having recovered for what could have been a devastating end result, Dot and I gained a new appreciation of what boating means to us and what it can mean to you, our fellow boaters. We urge you to take advantage of any and all educational programs, whether online, in safe social gatherings, or in outdoor settings, and stay in touch with all of your friends. Dot and I both love fishing, but COVID kept us off the water for months. Now winter weather has us in its icy grip, but spring is right around the corner. And since we live in lower Alabama, spring comes early, so look for us out in the water in Mobile Bay, Perdido Bay, or in the Gulf when red snapper season comes. The future is bright, and its story has not been written yet. It's up to you to make the best of it. And don't forget, America's Boating Club means friends and families enjoying the water safely. Thank you.
Thanks, Louie, for sharing your personal experience with COVID. We're very glad you and Dot are doing well. The upcoming Olympics are still being called Tokyo 2020 by many, but they will take place this summer, and we will follow the U.S. sailing team as it goes for the gold.
Walking through the tunnel on the way into the opening ceremonies was absolutely spectacular. You're in this dark tunnel next to all these amazing athletes.
The electricity was incredible.
You know, my cheeks hurt from smiling, and you walk around the stadium doing a big parade.
And you could hear the thunder roaring and it just sent goosebumps. It was just an incredible experience.
It gives me goosebumps today.
For me, when I qualified for the Olympics, I felt like I had already achieved what I wanted to achieve.
The Olympic experience is something to treasure because of the friendships you make. I can travel anywhere in the world and I can make a phone call and have a friend.
To me, the Olympic Games is like this huge mountain that I've always wanted to climb. It represents the pinnacle of our sport, extremely refined competition. I also appreciate that it's the coming together of so many different nations.
There's a huge sense of pride in being an Olympian, and specifically in being a Team USA.
When you're at the Olympic Games, you're not just sailing with a sail number on your sail, it's actually the American flag in USA. I have always been proud to be American. I love representing the red, white, and blue and everybody that's within this country.
Andy Sumberg wants us to stay safe while using propane on board.
This is Andy Sumberg, and like you, I'm a boater. If you have propane on your boat, you know how useful it can be for cooking, heating, and more. However, improperly handled or maintained, propane systems can also be dangerous. America's Boating Club's interactive online seminar, Propane Systems on Your Boat, covers what you need to know to have a safe propane system and to use it safely. This 1-minute video gives a good overview of what is covered in the seminar.
Safely using propane on your boat can be tricky. Do you ever get frustrated when lighting your galley stove? Have you ever run out of propane without realizing it was even low? Your propane systems could be perfectly safe, but do you know for sure? These are common questions for many boaters. The United States Power Squadrons and Boat US Foundation answer these and many other questions with an online seminar titled Propane Systems on Your Boat. In this seminar, you will learn all about the safe operation, maintenance, and inspection of the propane system on your own vessel, including understanding what's unique about marine appliances and how that impacts how to light your stove or oven. You'll also learn 3 techniques for determining how much propane you have left in your tank, how to inspect the components of your propane system, and all about the proper procedures for shutting off appliances to ensure the safety of your boat and those aboard. If you have a propane system on your boat, or if you're thinking of adding one, this course offers everything you need to be sure you're safe.
This seminar was inspired by a propane explosion in a marina in Washington State that unfortunately killed 1 person and destroyed or damaged 5 boats. Here is a picture of some of the debris from that accident. Do you want to learn more about propane systems on your boat? Go to americasboatingclub.org/learn/online-boating-education. I'll post the URL at the bottom of the screen to give you time to note it. Once you land on the web page, select the orange title for Propane Systems. This will take you to a page where you can view the short video clip you just saw, take a short preview of the course, or navigate to the course sign up and login page. Also, as you can see, the price is listed here. Propane Systems on Your Boat is a comprehensive seminar that begins with a brief discussion of onboard appliance fuels, then covers propane systems components so you'll understand the component parts and what they do. From there, we cover safe use of your system and inspection and maintenance. And for those of you who care to dig deeper, the properties of propane and butane, the primary constituent gases in liquefied petroleum gas. No matter what you already know, I guarantee you will learn something new about propane. I hope you will take a look at propane systems on your boat. This is Andy Sumberg saying, thanks for viewing.
Excellent information. Thank you, Andy. John O'Reilly has found an amazing film for his final appearance. Here's John.
Hello and welcome to another boating movie recommendation. Today's film is White Squall from 1996, starring Jeff Bridges. It is a true life story of a group of teenage boys in the 1960s who set sail on the sailing school Albatross as crew. During their time on the ship, they face many challenges which help them prepare for life. But will they be ready for their final test? Here's the trailer.
The ship beneath you is not a toy, and sailing's not a game.
So why the hell do it?
Bill's character, Mr. Preston, of which you are in desperately short supply.
They came from different places.
And this Ocean Academy isn't recognized as accredited.
It'll be a good thing, Dad.
They sailed for different reasons.
I don't want to be what I was when I left.
There you go.
Anonymous.
But there was only one way.
We'll do it together.
I can't.
Climb!
To survive on his ship.
I will challenge them, and they will come together.
Become a team.
Where we go one, we go all.
Because where he was taking them...
What are they doing?
Claiming their place in the world.
Could not be measured in miles. They thought they had survived the greatest challenge of their lives.
We had come through every kind of seas imaginable.
Except a white squall.
But it was only...
White squalls are a phenomenon of the imagination.
The calm.
What happened to my ship was not imagined.
Before the storm. Largo Entertainment presents a film about loyalty.
Where we go one,
we go all.
Discovery.
But we're a crew. That's what this whole thing is about.
And courage.
Don't you walk out of this, Skipper, you don't!
Captain, they're only boys.
We listened to you, we believed you!
They're much more than that, sir.
And we are still here!
Jeff Bridges in a Ridley Scott film. White Squall. Based on a true story.
This movie is available on many streaming services, including Amazon, Google, and YouTube. But after you watch the film, be sure to read up on the rest of the story that's not covered by the movie. If you have any questions about this film, please feel free to email us at live@americasboatingchannel.com. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thanks, John. The perfect movie for our Swan Song episode. Next, Dr. Cheryl Lowry and Brian Pinkston will help us prepare for the vaccine.
Hi, it's Cheryl and Brian again. We've been asked questions about the COVID vaccine, so we want to answer a few of those questions that everybody's had. Since Cheryl is the smarter of the two of us, she's going to answer the questions and I'll ask the questions. So first of all, Cheryl, could you tell us a little bit about the vaccines and what's available out there?
Well, currently there's two vaccines out on the market, Pfizer and Moderna. Neither of these vaccines have components of actual virus in them. They both provide something called messenger RNA, which causes an immune response in your body.
So Cheryl, is there any reason why someone should not take the vaccine?
If you've had a reaction to any of the components of the vaccine, which includes polyethylene glycol or polysorbate, you may not be able to receive this vaccine. Also, if you've had an allergic reaction to any other vaccinations, check with your physician before you take this vaccination. So Brian, why is the vaccine so hard to find?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is just production takes a little bit of time, and it was just approved for experimental use. And under that experimental use licensing, it means that people have had, let's say, hundreds to thousands of people have been tested as opposed to tens to hundreds of thousands of people. And we're getting that as we're getting more and more doses into people, we're getting to see more side effects. So it's effective, and it is it's also safe, but they're looking at what the broader population might have side effects with the drug. The other thing is both types of vaccine have cold chain requirements and also have use requirements. So for example, Moderna is good for 12 hours after you take it out of the cold chain area and put it on the line, and it's only good for 6 hours after you puncture it. And each vial has 10 doses in it. Pfizer has about 5 doses to sometimes 6 doses, depending upon how it's filled. And so therefore you can have really difficulty in making sure that we don't waste any doses. Every wasted dose has to be reported to the CDC. So effectively, it is a controlled substance on steroids almost, is how I'd say, because it is so controlled and also that we don't want to waste a dose.
Thanks, Cheryl and Brian. Very helpful as we move closer to the end of the pandemic. Holly Tompkins will now transport us to another era through music.
Wow, has that really been almost a year since we first met? How are you? How am I? Are you still safe? Are you still sane? Surprisingly, I am both, and I am well. And in case you have forgotten, with all that has been the stress of this past year, I'm Holly, and welcome to the reunion tour of Music Discovery for America's Boating Channel Live. To answer my own questions for you, my household managed to survive this far intact, and we are grateful for our health and probably a little luck. Certainly 2020 will be remembered in the history for just about everything, you name it. It was weird, it was scary, emotional on all levels, and even hopeful. And hope is where I will always place my bets. Did you do a little daydreaming about things getting back to normal, maybe becoming a new normal, albeit without masks and arrows in the grocery store to tell you which way you're supposed to go up and down the aisles? Yeah, I did some dreaming. And that's the reunion song for you that I want to take with you for the rest of this year while we begin to recover and beat this COVID menace. To get to the point, I have to do my usual tangent. On weekends, we do a thing called Champagne Sunday and listen to jazz. That's what we do around here. The station I was clued into by a friend is Radio Swiss Jazz. Yes, broadcast via the internet from Sweden. This is a great find and is a delight to listen to, and how I discovered the band you are about to hear. Big Band Liechtenstein. Yes, that is for real. I had never heard of these guys before and was instantly hooked. They started in 1983. The one album I've been able to find so far on Spotify, my favorite, is 3570. 35 for the years since they had been going on at the time they recorded it, and 70 for the age of the band leader, which it's pretty clever. I'm constantly amazed at musicians overseas who take music, jazz in this case, a Native American sound, and make it their own and perfect it. Music is truly a uniting force, much like the hunt for vaccine for the COVID scourge. Arg, voting reference. Anyway, the song I've chosen, Dream, reminds us things never are as bad as they seem, so dream, dream, dream. Enjoy the amazing vocals. Check out the full album, and I wish you the best health and happiness for the rest of this year and until we meet again.
Album. Album.
When you're feeling blue, you gotta dream. That's the thing. watch the smoke rings rise in the air. You'll find your share of memories there. So dream when the day's through. You gotta dream, and they might come true. Things never are as bad as they seem. So dream, dream. So dream when the day is through. You gotta dream, and it might come true. Things never are as bad as they seem. So dream, dream, dream. You gotta dream, dream, dream.
That was fantastic, Holly. Thank you very much. Now, Megan Humphrey will take us to a time we all look forward to.
Hi everyone, and welcome back for another edition of Nautical Crafts. Rather than actually doing step-by-step instructions this week, what I'd like to do is leave you with a game plan for something you can do with your yacht club members or your squadron mates, or maybe just your friends on the dock. Once we're allowed to gather again in person, get our boats in the water, and get ready for some summer fun. So, let's get started. Have you got any masks laying around? Wondering what you're going to do with them all? Now that it's time, when it gets to that time, when we don't have to wear them anymore, what can we do with them? Well, what I'm going to recommend is that we use them in the America's Boating Channel live version of the Sailor Sock Burning Festival. Instead, let's have a mask burning festival. But before we just throw the masks on the fire, let's put them to good use. Let's take that canvas and make it into a sail, and have a sailboat regatta made from our masks. So there's lots of parts around the house that we can use to make these sailboats. What I recommend is we start with anything we can find for the vessel. A block of wood, a sponge will do the trick. Recognize this guy, takeout containers, those float very nicely. Now, what do we use for the other parts of the sailboat? Well, we can use skewers, make a good mask. We can use popsicle sticks for battens. You can also use a hot glue gun and make a raft out of the popsicle sticks. Rocks can be used for ballast. Paper clips, safety pins, binder clips, these can all be used to attach our sail to the masts. And I found that little nuts make great for steps to the mast to hold the mast into our sailboat. So in one case, I took one of my masks, and all I did was use safety pins to hold it to the skewer. All I have to do is punch that now into, I can just punch that stake right into my sponge, and I've got a sailboat ready to go. Here's another example of one of the sailboats that I came up with. In this case, we're using one of the takeout containers and 2 disposable masks. A third contestant for my own personal regatta, I used the popsicle sticks, hot glue gun to make a raft, and I cut that disposable mask in half to be my sail. I'm going to go ahead and give all these boats a test float in the bathtub now. Well, we're looking pretty good here. We've got 3 masked boats floating and ready for the regatta. First one across the finish line wins, but let's remember, we have to pick up our litter afterward. Somebody in a kayak or with a long fish net has to be ready to capture any runaway sailboats and dispose of them properly.
Every club should start planning now for a face mask regatta and mask burning party as soon as it's safe. Jim Zeigler decides to praise another boating channel for his last performance on Live.
Hi, this is Jim from America's Boating Channel talking about boating-related TV shows. The Nautical Channel claims to be the only 24/7 global TV broadcaster dedicated to nautical sports. It provides viewers with a fresh perspective on sailing, surfing, kayaking, and much more. The Nautical Channel caters to a worldwide audience of over 20 million in North America, Europe, the Caribbean, and Africa on satellite, cable, pay, and mobile TV services. The Nautical Channel has assembled an experienced international team focused on nautical sports and entertainment to bring the latest sailing, powerboat racing, and surfing sports, as well as plenty of lifestyle programming to a worldwide audience. Viewers will have front row seats to top nautical sports events, and it is the easiest way for the nautical industry to reach an international marine-oriented consumer market in one outlet. Nautical sports make up more than half the programming, but topics include news, travel, adventure, yachts, surfing, onboard interviews, shipyards, equipment, undersea wrecks, and a lot more. Here's a preview.
Welcome to Nautical Channel, where water sports, extreme sports, and new exciting travel adventures are all at your fingertips. The only 24/7 TV channel dedicated to the nautical world. Join our crew as we set sail to bring you to new paradises, riding waves, and live the best life. From sailing meets, surfing championships, and high-speed racing, to boat shows, globe-trotting, and constant exploring, see what life on water is all about. Jump in as we take you above, through, and underwater. Take the plunge and immerse yourself in the Nautical Channel world.
You can find the Nautical Channel on YouTube or at nauticalchannel.com. That is Nautical Channel with no spaces, .com. Again, Nautical Channel, no spaces, .com. Enjoy and stay safe.
Very nice, Jim. And of course, we welcome the competition. The more boating lifestyle videos, the better. Now, Mary Catherine Berube has another remarkable benefit for joining United States Power Squadron's America's Boating Club.
Let me tell you about the new America's Boating Club app. The America's Boating Club app is an all-in-one information asset for a great day on the water. Once you download the app, you can enter all your information and your boat's information, including routine maintenance items, and you're ready to go. While not intended to replace your GPS or VHF radio, it is a great asset to remind you of all the important information you learned in your America's Boating Club courses and seminars. You can quickly and easily file a float plan, check the weather radar or tide charts, look up the meaning of one of those stimulating boat words, get a reminder on how to properly tie a knot, see what a channel marker means, figure out what those flags on the other boat spell, get a reminder of what lights you're supposed to have on, or check a navigation rule. Access a quick checklist for a boating or medical emergency, or just hook into America's Boating Channel and watch some fun and interesting videos. Also, there is access to member benefits, ABC course and seminar information, our ship store, and many other features. If you own a boat, used to own a boat, or might want to own a boat, there is something useful in this app for you. I encourage everyone to download the America's Boating Club app. If you haven't taken a course or seminar with us in the past, it provides a glimpse into what America's Boating Club has to offer to enhance your day on the water.
Thank you, Mary Catherine. Next, Chuck Wells explores 3 very different but excellent books for boaters.
Hi, I'm Chuck Wells. In this new episode, I have 3 books that you should consider during the cold winter. One of historical fiction with a twist, one of adventure, and a science book that entertains. The Terror by Dan Simmons was a national bestseller when it was published in 2007. Historically, it describes the Franklin expedition of 1845 to find the Northwest Passage, a sea route from Europe to the Orient. 2 converted bomb ships, the Terror and the Erebus, pressed into service as Arctic explorers, are at the center of this tale of discovery and survival. As an historic side note, the HMS Terror was built in 1813 and participated in the bombing of Fort McHenry in Baltimore during the War of 1812. But after the ships become frozen in the ice, the other terror and horror begins. The book was made into a miniseries by AMC, but I think you'll find the book highly entertaining. My next selection is an adventure story. Trekker Around the World by John Goswell details his circumnavigation in the mid-1950s. This is truly one of the great sailing classics. Navigating before the advent of electronic navigation, Goswell's tools comprised of charts, compass, and sextant. In his early 20s, he built Trekker from a design by Lawrence Giles of Westerly Yachts fame. The boat measured 20 feet 6 inches. His travels from Vancouver across the Pacific and Indian Oceans, then across the Atlantic to Panama, and finally returning to Vancouver, are an enjoyable read for the armchair adventurer. Goswell set the record for the smallest vessel to circumnavigate at the time. In this new revised edition, his participation in the single-handed Transpac race on the 30-foot endangered species is included in this enjoyable read. The Riddle of the Compass by Amir Axel presents us with an interesting history of the compass. The exact discovery of the lodestone's magnetic properties is unknown. What is known is that it was developed in China over 2,000 years ago. The Chinese used this discovery to navigate on land. It would not be until the 12th century that European traders acquired this knowledge and created a compass card with directions that could be used to navigate on the water. This tool, used first by the city-state of Amalfi in Italy, and then later by the Venetians, was instrumental in creating maritime dominance in the 12th and 13th centuries. The book introduces the reader to a part of history that is seldom explored. It appears the Dark Ages were not so dark. This book is also a reminder that the compass remains an important tool for navigation, whether on land or sea.
Totally fascinating choices. Thank you, Chuck. And finally, Gary Cheney runs into catfish on the beach.
I happened to run into our friend Catfish the other day. You know, it's been a long time with all this social distancing and so on, but he happened to be at the beach. And I asked him how things are going. He said, sometimes I'm just amazed at things. He said, once the bars reopened, I headed down to the local watering hole for a few beers, and in walked my friend Bob. Bob is a local car dealer who's done very well. He's very wealthy, and he's also a widower. And Bob had with him this young woman who was very attractive and much younger, maybe in her 20s or early 30s. And Bob, like a lot of us, was in his mid-70s. Catfish said, well, gosh, Bob, how did you get that girlfriend? And he said, oh, that's not my girlfriend, that's my wife. And Catfish said, "You got to be kidding me. How did you get a trophy wife like that?" And Bob said, "Well, to tell you the truth, I lied about my age." Catfish said, "Well, what did you do? You told her you were 50 or what?" Bob said, "No, I told her I was 90.
That was very funny, Gary. Thank you for joining us for our cast reunion of America's Boating Channel Live. Stay in touch by emailing live@americasboatingchannel.com. And while you're still spending more time at home, please take a look at the many boating safety and boater education videos on our website. Goodbye for now from America's Boating Channel Live.